every day. Don't despair, cause it ain't your way. Keep it real, make the best out of any situation that you come across. Some lose, some lost, I'ma shake it off and get back to what I'm really about. Give the crowd something to feel.
Welcome back to the Jonessa Podcast.
Conversations from the couch.
Alrighty, so coming in strong after a monumental, phenomenal episode.
Yes.
That was amazing by Minister Brian Jones.
Yeah, it was so nice to have him come to the couch and provide such great knowledge to our listeners. It was a wonderful experience. Even talking to him, we had a conversation about our conversation after the podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I encourage everyone out there, all of our listeners, all of our couch cousins, to please go out and listen to that episode. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. A lot of good information, a lot of gems and jewels. Mm-hmm. But great weekend this weekend. We had some friends over.
Yes, it was so good to see them. It's probably been like, a year since we've had them over to the house.
Yes.
It was so good to be around them.
Yes. And it's so cool because we both work in the same professions. You work in the same profession as my friend's wife, and I work in the same profession as him. And we have so many things in common. And it's just so important that if you're in a relationship, in a marriage, to bond with other couples that have similarities as you do, interests, and just have the same vision as you do when it comes to relationships and marriages.
And I think we can definitely say that about that couple. They are very similar in what they want out of their marriage, and you can tell that they really, really love each other and are truly friends at the end of their relationship.
Yeah.
So that was fun to be with them.
Very fun. But we have a very, very special guest tonight, and all of our guests are very special.
All of them are.
But this one,
we were so excited.
I know. And I will go ahead and apologize right now to all the listeners if I sound very nervous. Please forgive me. We have a special guest. My wife is always poised. That's that Miss South Carolina pageant experience.
No. See, now you're running out. See, why are we running out?
Just have that poise.
Okay.
But without further ado, we have Dr. Alicia Watkins on the couch with us tonight. She's going to talk to us about marriage, relationships, and you hear the term high value all the time. It's kind of like a trigger word for some people now. But we're really going to dive deep into that and just do some good conversations.
Yeah, and couch cousins, get out your pens and your pencils, or start typing in your messages and your notes, because I can already tell. I already know this is going to be a good one.
Monumental. Yeah. So without further ado, Dr. Alicia, thank you so much for coming on our podcast and blessing us with your presence.
Oh, I appreciate that. I appreciate the invite, and I just love to be able. Anytime I'm so passionate about marriage and relationships and couples. Any invitation, I just jump at the chance. And you all came up with such a great topic that I just said, this type of topic we have got to talk about way more often. So that's what got me, was your topic. And I said, oh yeah, I really want to talk about high value people versus low value people. That's a great conversation to have, and we need to have more of those conversations.
Yes, yes, we do. And coming from someone like you as an expert, I know we're going to get some great information.
We're going to learn some things.
Yes,
so I'm so excited.
Yes, I'm very excited. So let's go ahead and hop right into it, Dr. Alicia. I mean, your professional opinion on the phrase high value man and the high value narrative that has taken center stage in relationship discussions between men and women. Give us your professional opinion on this, because like I said before, it's a hot topic and it can be a trigger for some.
Yeah, it's so interesting. The thinking that a high value person is somebody with this set of qualities that's better than those who don't have these sets of qualities, and that those people should therefore be placed on a pedestal. They are better than someone who doesn't have this type of quality. And really interesting. So the thinking on the other hand is that a low value person is someone who is inherently flawed. They're worth less than other people, and so therefore we have to devalue them. They are less than. And it's really, especially with what I'm hearing about low value people, is that I feel like it's putting people in an impossible situation. It's like, okay, so I'm a low value person because I was born in this family. Really? So it's impossible. There's no solution to it. I'm just going to just sign up for this low value life that I'm going to have. And there's no way of overcoming it. And that just to me seems very unnecessarily hopeless and unnecessarily like devastating. So there's nothing we can do. It's almost like you're faulted just for things that are outside of your control. You can't control what your parents were doing before you were born. You can't control a relationship that goes bad, so that sort of thing is really, really problematic. And I think that in reality, all of us are born with gifts. All of us have the value. There's no such thing as a low value, high value person. We all have strengths. All of us have areas of improvement. No one person is more worthy and more valuable than another. And I think like just thinking about where that comes from, it's almost as if you're not worthy of being with another person because you don't have these sort of attributes. And I think that we just need to let all that go. You do need to have standards, and you do need to decide what you want in a partner and what you don't want in a partner. All of us need to have that. But I think that also you need to think about what are those qualities that you're looking for in another person, and why is that quality so important to you? Where did that come from? Questioning some of that, and then deciding how you want to live your life. So I think it gets to choosing a partner. That's where I noticeably find that sort of thinking: high value, low value. You're not worthy of this partner because of these attributes. What do you all think?
I think our expectations and what we want out of a partner for some reason has just become like not even realistic. And when I hear the term high value and somebody saying that I want a high value partner that has to make this amount of money, has to have this type of job title, I don't think they understand how reaching those levels is very difficult. And no one is going to start off with those things if you meet them at a certain juncture in your life. Like I said this previously, if the high value terminology was out when we first met each other, my wife probably wouldn't have even given me a chance because I was a broke college student living with my mother. But because she didn't come into the relationship with that mindset, we're well on our way. I'm well on my way because of my wife to becoming a quote unquote high value man.
Oh, that is so great. It's like you're missing out on true love because you're so focused on things that don't even matter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Like you really should be focusing on good qualities in a partner. You should find do you love people? Do you treat people in a caring way? Like, do you truly love me? Because things that are of high value, to go with that terminology, sometimes they could fade away at the drop of a hat. Like things could turn and you don't have what's making you high value. So if that is stripped away from you and it's just you standing right there but beside me or in front of me, do you still have that value without these things? And that's what's really important.
Yes.
Oh, that's so great. So if you base a relationship on how much money you make, and that's what you're basing the relationship on, there's no relationship when the money ebbs and flows like it always does. What comes up is always going to come down. So what are you going to do when there's hard times? It means you're going to flee the relationship. It's no longer valuable anymore because you're resting the future of this relationship on something like money that means absolutely nothing. Or if it's the way that somebody looks. If you're only resting your relationship on how someone looks, if they change your look or something happens and they don't look the way you want them to look, the relationship is over or the marriage is over. And if that's the case, there never was a marriage in the first place.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. No foundation is not built on anything that's solid or worthwhile. And what's wrong with building towards something collectively? Like I said before, like my wife and I, we started off like we were very low value.
Together. It was a collective effort.
I was more low value, but she elevated me, made me better. But the journey that we've been on and where we're going, we appreciate it even more than if one person came in with everything and somebody quote unquote didn't come in with the things that person was seeking. I think there's something special about building and creating something. And I think a lot of, especially the younger people who are following this narrative, they're missing out on that journey, and it's very sad.
Yeah, it's so funny because when I met my husband, he was a little Boyce. He was a graduate student. He had no money. I think I had more money than him. And I would take him to the movies, and I would be like, I'm going to pay for the movies and popcorn today. Have anything. It was just really funny. We would we had such a fun friendship, and we were just like, we have such a good time together. It was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's 2 a.m. You better get back to your dorm. I'm going back to my dorm. We were in college. Like, it was just that sort of connection. It was like a real true connection. And you know, we would go on trips together. I remember we drove to New York one day, just like crazy. You know, yeah, let's just go to New York. We had no money at all. I had to put together money to put gas in the car. It was really bad, but we had a good time. So just think about that. Like, if I only value certain things, I never would have been really good friends with someone who in the future became my husband. Really, really fascinating about what you miss out on. And it's so interesting because I got so many friends. I do have friends. It's just like, he's got to make a certain amount of money, and he's got to, you know, and they say that, and it's funny because all of them are single.
Wow.
It's like a man don't want to be with a woman like that. They are all single, saying the same thing that they said 10 years ago when they were single.
Yeah.
It's really fascinating about how it just doesn't even work that way.
Exactly. And like you said, what they could be missing out on, because like my potential, I mean, I haven't reached my potential yet, but I'm only elevating, and you could be potentially missing out on someone who, it may not be doing well now, but in the future, with your support and you standing right beside them, they can eventually get to that level that you want them to. I mean, I know Dr. Boyce got to that level.
Yeah. And there's still more for him to go. I mean, he still has a lot of things going on that are very exciting and very expansive, very, very interesting things going on. So he hasn't gotten to where he's going to be. He's going to be 10 times more than where he is right now. And so it's kind of cool to be on that journey with him.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of go back to something you mentioned about some of your friends that are still in their single state, you think that they could possibly, because, okay, if they are, you know, in their terms, they feel like they're successful, then why couldn't they find someone maybe that's on that same level of success, wherever it be, and kind of still build? Because you're not, like, even no matter what your age is, you're not where you ultimately want to be. So why do you think it's difficulty trying to find someone that's kind of on that same level and then continue to build together?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question that I have for them all the time. Like, what is going on? I have a play cousin who I'm thinking of, and she's been talking that, you know, now I see her is 20 years later, and she's like, what's your retirement plan? And what's your such and such? Now she's asking all sorts of different questions, and she's just as single as they can be. And it's really interesting. It's almost like it puts up a block, you know, and I look at her and I'm just saying, you know, I just see that there could be just why is she apprehensive about really getting close to someone? Like, I kind of think that all of that melts away, and that looking for all of these attributes that mean absolutely nothing is sort of a way to protect herself. You know, I kind of think that maybe she's just not, she's probably ready, but she's a little apprehensive about really falling for someone that, you know, on something a little more substance, you know, that maybe she's falling back on what's more comfortable for her as to, well, I'm just not with him because he doesn't have his money together. He's not doing this and that. You know, I'm thinking that that's just an excuse.
Yeah. Well, I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, my
Don't start we're not doing that today. Not today.
But this next question, it kind of hit me, and I wanted to bounce it off of you because you are the expert. But has society's focus on personal achievement, along with the emphasis social media puts on receiving individual attention, affected the appeal of marriage?
Yeah, I think, You said, has society put a focus on personal achievement? Yeah, I think it's not. I mean, to achieve things is really wonderful. That is fantastic. And it's great to share those achievements on social media. I think that's what you were asking. And I think I like it because it can motivate people. You know, you can be like, oh my God, it's so great to have people winning. And I feel like I can win, you know, so it's good to see people, especially who look like you, who are winning. And then you think that you can have that. I think the problem falls where you place your self-worth on how many views you get. You place your self-worth on how many likes that you get. And so if it didn't go the way you wanted it to go, and you're constantly checking social media, I am new to social media. I'm not even familiar with this. So I'm amazed at how many people like really check how many likes they have and views and all of that. And so I just think that in our society, there's just so many unhealthy forms of self-esteem. And, you know, definitely putting an emphasis based on performance-based esteem. So you only have worth based on what you can do. You know, it's like men have this sometimes, you know, they only have worth if they win. If they win that basketball game, then they're worthy. If they don't win, then they're not worthy for some reason. Getting into self-worth again, I think we talked about that before. But, you know, placing your worth on achievement, I think, is problematic. Also, you know, a lot of women, like, we place our worth on how somebody likes us. If someone likes us, then we're worthy. If someone doesn't like us, then we're not worthy. I mean, you have to have that kind of internal sense of self-love and self-well-being, and to know that you are worthy. And you don't need to have all of this external validation, you know, to make sure that you are worthy. You know, just you have to know it. And I think a third thing is that we place so much emphasis on materialism and what we have. If, you know, I have worth because I have a fancy car. I have worth because I'm going on this elaborate vacation. I'm gonna let everybody see this, you know, or I have worth because my body is shaped in a certain way, and I have big muscles or something. And so it is interesting. Our culture runs on this sort of self-esteem. You know, buy this product and you will be a person of distinction. You will be a person of worth because you bought this product. Our whole economy is based. Listen, if we all as a society decided that we were going to have really good, healthy self-esteem, our economy would just fall. Like, no one would buy anything because you are enough. You don't have to have these things to be enough.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's why I feel like the whole high value thing plays on that, because I feel like a lot of people put emphasis on the high value thing because it makes them look better to other people. That's why if you are a person who says that I can only be with a person that is worth 6 figures, you're saying that because you're only thinking about the material possessions that person can bring to you. And so you can flaunt those material possessions on social media. I think if it weren't for social media, we probably wouldn't even be hearing the high value narrative as much as we do today. And I think on the flip side of that, with the men who say that I want a high value woman that looks like this and dresses this way, once again, that's completely predicated on the attention that you're going to get from having this quote unquote beautiful woman on your side. So I think that's like how social media has really elevated this narrative.
Yeah, because you're going to get a lot of likes if you go on a lavish vacation and you post all of your pictures. Oh, people are going to like that up. You're going to, oh, that's going to like whatever, like make your self-esteem a little bit higher. Then if you have a beautiful woman by your side and her body is, you know, banging in all the right places, all your friends are, oh man, you got you a bad one. Like, so it's going to bring up your value is going to go higher. What you think, what people think about you. And that is a dangerous place to be in. And sometimes you can try to falsify your marriage. Like, you know, some people will get on social media and be like, oh, the love of my life that I cherish until the ends of the earth. But you really know, you talk about him like a dog and treat him real bad. So like, we try to make as if what's on social media is real life, but even that, it's not real life. And so you're getting all of these likes, but you know deep down inside, but that's not even real. That's not even your life that you're putting out there on Instagram.
Not at all. Not at all.
Oh, that is so fun. Yeah, I think about like I didn't realize that you could put filters on things that can make you look way better. Half of the stuff, those people don't even look like that. They're even real anyway.
Not at all.
It's so funny. Yeah, and like we don't know you post a picture, but we don't know what's going on. Yeah, you can say you love somebody on social media, but that doesn't make you love somebody. Love is an action. It's what you do. It's not just a feeling that you have inside. I mean, that's a cliche, but it's so true. Love is what you do.
Social media has made us feel like if we don't show our love on Instagram or on Facebook,
we don't post it.
If we don't post it, then it's not real and it's not authentic. And people like often wonder what's going on with so-and-so because I haven't seen.
Posted in a while. What's going on?
You ain't posted in a while. Something going on.
Paradise. So it's crazy, Dr. Alicia. I shared this on a previous episode with my wife and I. We just celebrated our 9th anniversary last month, and I didn't do this big.
He didn't post me, Dr. Alicia.
I didn't do this big grandiose picture collage or this long message saying how much I love my wife because I'm like, she knows I love her. The only reason I would be doing this is because of the validation from my peers.
Yeah.
And we were off social media for a long period of time. Right after we got married, we just decided to get off of Facebook, and I didn't join Instagram until we started this platform. Yeah. And she never felt like she was missing out on anniversaries.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so I always find that very fascinating how social media can pretty much dictate how people feel about themselves. But I mean, they put a study out, and the Facebook whistleblower kind of blew up the spot on that. So just be careful.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. I have I'm a college professor too, so I have students who do research, and it's every year is always a student that wants to do research on social media and mental health. They just, I don't know why, it's just so and every year it comes up as related. They are related to each other. High uses of social media is negatively related to happiness. So your happiness goes down the more you're on social media, and is consistent across all populations. And so it just makes you wonder, like, what's going on with people that have to be on social media all the time? I just can't believe there are people who just live on social media, and there's so much that I do this outside of social media. No one will ever know. I don't even think people would even care. Why would anyone care? It amazes me that people care so much.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Dr. Alicia, it's funny that you say that because I have taken like a social media hiatus. Like, I'm just like, you know what? Like, we went on like a fast in our life, and then I was like, I'm going to also fast from social media. And so I've been off for I went off for a week, and I've been off for up to a month now. And I'm just like, I don't know when I'm getting back on. And the thing is, I really do feel happier. Like, I do. Like, I feel happier now that I'm not on there. Like,
yeah,
it's like a weight sometimes that you can kind of carry all of those things on you. So, but people, I will come back, but just not right now.
Yeah, I mean, and that's just so hard when you're because it's a necessary thing. It's like, I mean, what the two of you are doing is so important because we need this message out there. Like the things that you're about, I did a whole lot of, I looked you all up and I loved your topics. I like your energy and all of that. You're such a fun. We need more of you all on social media because there's a lot of toxic stuff that I see all the time, and you are not that at all. But at the same time, it's just like you have to know how to win and how to put it all down. And I try to go on a detox minimum twice a year at the end of my semester. So May and December, I go on a detox. And I actually go on my spiritual retreats, which are fun. Maybe I'll talk about that one day. But I like doing that. And I just do it. And it varies however it gets done. But I mean, that sort of thing is just important to incorporate into a fast. You need to fast from everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Very true. But Dr. Alicia, this next question, I will say, it's kind of selfish for us because you're an expert. So I want to sneak this one in, but in marriage, we are told that two now become one. However, should boundaries be placed on the pursuit of achieving personal goals that were set prior to the now established union?
Yeah. So I think boundaries. Yeah, it's a negotiated thing, the boundaries. But in terms of like fulfilling your personal goals, I think that marriage should be something expansive and not something restrictive. It really should be something liberating and not limiting in any way. So becoming one means you see the other person as they really are, and you accept their aspirations and their dreams, and because you understand them and you understand that they need to pursue this. So in that love, when we talked about love, part of loving your spouse is providing support for the things that they're passionate about. So, you know, marriage should be freedom, believe it or not. Like, it's, if you think about it, that's what real love is, because love, it should be freedom, and it should be peaceful, and it should be respectful. I mean, and if, you know, freedom, peace, respect, I think, and love, I think those four kind of all go together. They're simultaneous. If one is missing, then all of it falls apart. It's like all of those need to be present. And, you know, where it becomes restrictive and limiting, I start to wonder about, is there a certain level of fear coming up? Because fear is a lack of faith. I mean, you get married, you know, it's a game of chance. You know, not knowing that you're really attracting to yourself a spouse based on your own inner conviction, you know, so you marry that person because they're going to teach you a lesson no matter what, you know, or you wouldn't have been married to that person, you know, so there are no accidents, good or bad luck, you know, all of it is just love. And I think that's something that we need to keep in mind.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hurting a little bit. I feel like I got my teeth.
Oh, that was good.
And the reason, because my wife,
you can be transparent.
I'll be completely honest and transparent. My wife is a phenomenal educator. She is a principal right now, and she has risen up the ranks. She's only 33 years old, and she's already a principal. She won District Teacher of the Year. She is a educational savant. I gotta brag on you a little bit.
Okay. Just get to
admires you.
Her mindset, I always say this, her mindset, I compare it to Michael Jordan, and me asking her to kind of bring in the reins a little bit on her just veracity on education would be the equivalent of Michael Jordan's spouse telling him that you need to calm it down a little bit on the basketball court and put more focus on your family. I feel guilty doing that, but I'll be honest, sometimes I do feel like I come second. But I feel like at the same time, that's a little bit selfish because she had this goal before we met. And I think I'm very supportive.
You're extremely supportive. That's the thing. You really are. And we'll have conversations, and he'll tell me, Dr. Alicia, like, okay, like you need to kind of focus back at home. Like you need to leave the job a little bit sooner, get home, and we need to, you know, have a little bit of family time, one-on-one time. And sometimes like I'll be good at it for like a week, Dr. Alicia, and then I'm just going to be honest, and then I'll fall back into like, I got to do this for work. Like, so I will say it in some cases is not fair to him because I tell him that, okay, yes, I'm going to do better, but then I just fall back into my old habits, just, you know, and that's not fair to you.
But I feel selfish because that was her goal before. So it's weird. The dynamic of it is very difficult. I won't say weird. Difficult is a better word.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, girl. It's like it's a certain type of person to be a principal. I worked in schools, and all principals are very interesting people. Really fascinating. They're unique. School principals are just unique individuals. There's just something about it. They're born, not made necessarily. And I think it's like awesome, but it is something to be ambitious. I relate to you very much because I'm highly ambitious. You know, it takes So I try to, it's funny because I just walk around like I don't care, like have no care in the world. But really, when you're not seeing me, I'm working really hard. It's like,
right.
You know, it's hard. It is really, you know, I put my feet up and pretend like everything is okay, but I'm kind of like high strung too. So I relate to that. And so it is striking a balance of harmony. You know, to have that home life, work life harmony is so important. And, you know, believe it or not, if you do get promoted, maybe you'll be superintendent or assistant superintendent. Maybe something just like you'll reach those heights.
Thank you.
It's not like you can just say, okay, you got to be like, okay, I need to talk about this first over with my husband and make sure, you know, because it's going to require a lot more of you. And it's just, that's what marriage is about. There is no solution. A lot of problems, I see couples a lot, and half of the stuff they argue about, there is no solution to it. You just have to kind of get to know each other better and get into each other's world. It really is that understanding.
Wow.
I would agree with you 100%. I do.
Yeah, I agree.
Dr. Alicia.
I agree. Because it's like we keep having the same conversation, and it's like you said, there's really no solution. We just, at the end of the day, those pillars that you brought up, I mean, and we're all in and invested in that. And
if you don't have all four, then, and I feel like having those four are important. So we just got to keep trucking along.
Yeah.
Whew. This is a heck of a time to be a principal, though, in the middle of a pandemic. Just hats off to everybody that goes through. As a parent, it was really something with 3 children in school at the time. It was tough. Like the last month of school, I was kind of like, you either go or you don't go. I was like, I'm not trying to force them. I would get all these messages on the phone, like so-and-so's missing, and I would just like roll over and go back to sleep. I was just done with it. I was just tired. For real. And I'm one of the better parents. I would think I'm one of the better parents, but the school would call and say, where are they? I'm like, I don't know. You tell me where they are. You know, it was just, I just was tired.
Yeah.
Being a parent is hard.
Yes.
During all of this, it's very difficult because you want to make the right decision for your children, and sometimes you don't know what to do. And it's. Yeah,
and I was fortunate because I worked from home all during the pandemic. So I was here with the children, teaching my classes and seeing clients here. And but I'm working during the day. I can't go up there and see what they're doing in the office, you know, and wake them up and poke them. Wake up, you know, turn your camera on. You know, it was really tough. I'll just say. When the fall came and I put them on that bus, I was kind of, I love them, of course, but I was kind of like, see y'all at 3 o'clock.
Yes. Yeah. And that's fair.
I have a mimosa.
Cheers. You deserve it.
Yes.
Yes. Awesome. Also, that was a great, man. That was one of the best answers to one of my questions.
I think you thought you were going to be right. So you deserve it.
Man. So Dr. Alicia, you've been so great. So could we get one more question in for you, if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Awesome. So we always hear this when it comes to marriage, that we know in this country about the divorce rates, and now with the younger generations, they just seem like they don't even have any interest to even get married or be in a relationship. But in your professional opinion, when it comes to the lack of financial stability versus the lack of intimacy, which is more harmful in a marriage?
I'd have to say, well, of course, I'm going to always say intimacy, I think, is a necessary ingredient. You know, where financial stability is nice to have in a marriage. But I know so many couples who get divorced and they have plenty of money. Wow. Between the two of them, and they didn't have the intimacy. Just wasn't there. So, you know, and I don't know a single couple who's ended their marriage solely due to finances. I mean, I think when the intimacy is strong, I've seen couples rally through difficult situations because they had to fall back on the fact that they loved each other and they were emotionally connected to each other and all of that. And that's what gets them through like this financial crutch. it's, you know, if they did not have that level of intimacy, the financial issues probably just would have been one of many things that set them over and probably would have ended the relationship. So I do think that that probably intimacy is just always critical and always necessary. Financial stability is nice to have, but you know, that's going to ebb and flow too. You know, sometimes things can get a little shaky. I mean, just think about people who, you know, your car breaks down and you got $2,000. That happened to me one time. My car broke down on the highway with my son, and I had to wait for someone to tow us. And I took it to the shop, and right there he was like, "It'll be $2,500 to fix this car." And I was just like, "I don't even think this car is worth it," you know. So, you know, that financial instability, it's just nice to have someone who's there for you and just to say, "I'm so sorry this happened to us. We got to try to rally together and fix it." So it's always nice to have a team player, somebody on your side, somebody with you during the struggles, so you're not alone. I think feeling alone is the worst.
It's so crazy you said that, because I was reflecting on our marriage, and at the beginning of our marriage, she was a teacher, I was just a counselor at that point in our marriage, and we didn't have a whole lot of money, but we never thought about like how much money we didn't have at the time, because we were just so happy and love and just supportive, and like you said, just knowing that I had someone in the trenches with me
to eat tilapia with every night.
I didn't even have
tilapia come from. I was eating tilapia every night. I'm like, this fish just showed up all of a sudden.
He didn't even his job had ended.
Mm-hmm.
So, and we were on a second year teacher salary. You couldn't tell us anything. Like, we were like,
could not
you can't tell us anything. You really can't.
That's so romantic. I just think that's so romantic to me.
My job ended on November, goodness, September the 1st, and we got married on September the 15th.
Oh my good. Well, there we go. That was the test.
Yeah. So I
9 years later, look at you all.
So I agree. Intimacy. I agree. Yeah. Intimacy is definitely.
And I think those are things that really probably need to be discussed up front. Yeah, because people discuss financial goals. You often hear about that just in like on movies and things like that. You see on the movie, the dad asks the daughter, "What does he do for a living?" And just like cliche things like that. We often discuss that, but you never hear the intimacy or the romantic side of the marriage being discussed. How important that is to keep that up. So I'm glad that you said that, Dr. Alicia. I thought you were going to say financial stability was more important, because that's all that you hear.
But you're a man, so that's what you think. Plus your bones.
That's so true. Men feel like if they don't have their money right, that they shouldn't even be married. Why am I even here if I don't have no money? There's no other value you can bring to the family other than money.
That's so true. I hear it. Oh, not Alicia. Oh my goodness.
This has been so wonderful.
So hopefully we didn't disappoint you coming on our podcast. Hopefully
it was wonderful to have you on and share your information. And it's not only applicable to just like marriage, but just in relationships in general, the information that you've shared with us.
Yes, awesome. Dr. Alicia, you mind leaving your information for our audience just in case they want to get in contact with you or
they can catch me at Coaching with Dr. Alicia, Coaching with Dr. Alicia, ALICIA, and you can find me there. You just type it in. That's my website, and it's also my contact information on Instagram. I just opened an Instagram account in, I think it was like March, so I'm new to Instagram too, and so it's a lot of good information on there, and I try to have good elevated conversations I'm trying to do. And and I'm all excited because in 2.5 weeks I'm going to be at the All Black National Convention with Boyce Watkins. We're going to have some fun. We're doing all new stuff this year, and it's real exciting. And we're going to have a track on relationships. So I think that would be really kind of cool. People are interested in that, and financial stuff. There'll be a whole lot of financial stuff. Of course, that's one of the main ingredients, but they go together. And so you can check it out at allblacknationalconvention.com. It is the last weekend of this month. So it is the last weekend in October. And it'll be we're going to have a really good time in Orlando at the Omni Hotel. It's a beautiful resort. And I don't think there are any more. There might be a couple of hotel rooms left, but you can still get your ticket and come. I think it'll be awesome.
Awesome. Dr. Alicia, thank you so much for coming on the Jonessa podcast. That's nice. I can't even speak. I'm still so excited.
You're stumbling over your words.
It's nothing new though, but thank you so much. Audience, please go check her out. Her and her husband are doing amazing things for our community, and it doesn't matter what community you're part of, you can get some great information from them. Thank you so much, Dr. Alicia. You've just been awesome.
Amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you for inviting me. Yes.
Jonessa, audience, Couch Cousins. Yeah. You have listened to another legendary episode of the Jonessa podcast.
Conversations from the Couch.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.